everyone, welcome back to Tea&Therapy, and in today's video I'm going to be going through a list of things a narcissist does when they realise they can no longer use you, or if they feel they're losing control. So I'm going to go through the list, and then what I'm going to do is each time I do a video I'm going to focus on one specifically to give you a little bit of an insight into what they do and how you can potentially get yourself out of it. So things a narcissist will do when they realise they no longer can control you or they can no longer use you. So one of the things they will do is they will try to regain control. So if they feel they're losing control, they will try everything possible to regain control. The other thing they will possibly do is they will try to gaslight you. So for those of you who do not know what gaslighting is, it's a way for them to control you to feel that you need them. So they will do things to create you to feel like you're going crazy. And they do other things as well, but that's what that is. So I'll talk more about that in another video. Number 3, they will play a victim. So they will come across as if they are the victim and you are the perpetrator. They will somehow twist everything round, and they will also do that to you as well. Number 4, they can make you jealous, or they can try to make you jealous. So whether that's in a relationship or it's a friendship or even a family member, and they will use other people to do that. Unwitting people even. They don't realise they're being used. So suddenly you might start getting more attention from somebody who's a narcissist because they're attempting to make somebody else jealous. And they can do that in various ways. And I will be doing the video on that one as well. They resort to smear campaigns. Now, this is something that I've had first-hand experience of how much a narcissist will use a smear campaign against you to get other people on their side. And this can be one of, if I'm honest, one of the most damaging things because they're so convincing. And a lot of that is because everything that they tend to do is behind closed doors. So to everyone else, they are the most charming, wonderful, gregarious, kind, loving person. So when you then say, yes, but they're doing this, this and this, people are like, no, absolutely not. That's not my experience of that person. You must be lying. And that's how they get you. And one of the things they will do with a smear campaign is that's their aim, is they want everybody else to be on their side. And so you are made to feel alone. So that's one of the other things they will do. They use emotional blackmail. So they will use ways to create you to feel bad about the situation. And all of this, again, is done to create you to come back to them. 7, they give you the silent treatment. So that's the other thing as well they will do. They will give you the silent treatment. They look at this as a form of punishment, and they can go on for as long as needed. And they don't particularly care, but you will end up breaking because this will be devastating to you. The other thing as well, they will project their own behaviour onto you. So basically everything they do, they will make it that you do. That's your fault. You're the problem. They don't look at themselves in the same way. They don't even see the things that they do, but they do exactly the same, but they make it that you're the problem. They don't respect your boundaries. Forget about putting boundaries in place when you're with a narcissist, because they override them, sit on them, move past them, move them out the way, kick them to the curb. They do not care about your boundaries. So that is one of the most difficult things. And I've certainly had that with a lot of clients where they say, I'm trying to put boundaries in, but they just won't listen. The main thing here is this is about your self-care. So these videos are going to be about. So one of the things I'm going to start with before I start with this list, which will be the next video, which is when I talk about how they try to regain control, is what some people have asked me is, but how can you tell if a narcissist is a narcissist? And in all honesty, it's very, very difficult to tell a narcissist because of the way they come into your relationship. That's why I have always said it is imperative for you, if you come out of a relationship that has had issues, that's been quite traumatic, or if you come away from a family situation that's been, say, abusive or traumatic, or a friend, or even, the best thing to do is to work on yourself, because if you don't, then the chances are you're going to go back into the same situation again. And this tends to repeat itself until that light bulb goes off and you're like, right, okay, right now I see the pattern and that's what I'm going to change. Narcissists are very clever. Very clever. And that's not because they're intelligent, even though they might seem that they have a level of intelligence. And they certainly try to come across as if they're the most intelligent person on the planet. They're the ones that are always right, because they want you to feel that you need them, that they own you in some way. But telling a narcissist off from the very get-go is very, very difficult, because a lot of this is based on the little tests that they will give you. And if they surpass those tests and you don't do anything, then they have got you inadvertently. So what they will do is they will come in two ways. So you've either got one that will come in and be very charming, very gregarious, very sexual even. And a lot of this can play out with women, narcissistic women. Narcissistic men tend to be more what they feel a woman wants, which is very thoughtful, very kind, very knight in shining armor type of attitude. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you want, but that's what they believe that you will. But they will be very attentive, and they will listen, and they will focus. And it's literally as if they're literally jotting down notes in their brain. And that's why a lot of the time they will ask about you, and they'll say things that like, I just want to know, don't worry about me, I just want to know about you. And a lot of that is because they're trying to get to know you. And they want to know what things they can manipulate, what things they can exploit, how to get their claws into you, and then they've got you. So the way to do this is, firstly, take your time, because a narcissist will be very, most of the time, there's always exceptions to the rule, but most of the time they will want to secure you very quickly. If they decide that you're the mark, you're the one they want to secure you very quickly as possible. And they will do this in various ways. But one of the things, especially if it's a male narcissist and a woman, a lot of the time, unfortunately, is getting the woman pregnant will be one of the biggest things that they can try to do. They will try to get the woman pregnant. And if it's a female narcissist, it's very possible that she will get pregnant, because she will believe that that is a way to secure the relationship, that there's no way that you're going to go anywhere if she's pregnant, or the other way around, that you're not going to go anywhere if you're pregnant. So that's how they might view that. They will do things and your spidey sense will go off, even if it's slightly. The minute you challenge them, they will not like that. But that's how you'll start to know. So what you want to do is you take your time getting into a relationship, and you want to get to know that person, because it's just as much as you're sharing aspects of your life, you must know everything about that person. If that person's being evasive, there's a reason. Now, it could be that they're being tentative themselves. That's okay. But they will also share certain things with you that they feel, they will explain that. They will be very open within that. Whereas a narcissist tends to be a little bit more closed off, a little bit more defensive. They will potentially come across as the victim. So they will also, it's also about how they speak about other people in their life. So for example, they've got a crazy ex, or their family was crazy, their family were abusive. Now, some of this might be true. So it's not just one thing. It starts to become a collective thing. So in a way, you kind of want to start also making notes in a way yourself. And I know that sounds like it's ruining getting together with somebody, but this is for people who want to know and understand how that you can spot a narcissist. Obviously, if you want to go into a relationship and and the chances are that you're not going to meet a narcissist, and you're going to get someone that's really lovely, and that's wonderful. But for those of you who are scared of meeting a narcissist, it really is about trusting your instincts. And that's why when you get to know yourself, you know your boundaries, you know your instincts. And so when it goes off, you listen to it. A lot of the time they go off and you don't. So when somebody does something or says something, you're like, I'm not sure if I liked that. So then you would be able to challenge that person. Say, you know what, you said that and I didn't like it. Now, a lot of people generally would be very apologetic and be like, you know what, I'm really sorry. I didn't know that. Now, a narcissist will do the same. And this is why it's very difficult, because sometimes they'll get defensive, in which case then that's a very obvious thing. They'll get defensive. They don't like being challenged. But some are also a little bit more cleverer than that, and they will think, oh, you know what, they're checking me, so I need to make sure that I come in with like, oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean that. But the problem is at some point they're going to do it again. And so what will happen is that if you keep accepting their sorries, if you keep accepting their excuses, that's the test to them. And they're going to be like, you know what, I can get away with things. And that person still that person still has me in their life. And that in a way tells them that you've got low self-esteem. Doesn't mean that you have, it just means that that's the way they see it as a weakness. And so that's how they start to get their claws in you. You have to be prepared to walk away. One of the biggest things in a relationship is being prepared to walk away. And unfortunately, more often than not, when people have someone in their sights and they want to be with that person, it will be because they find them very attractive. They might be sexually great. They might have a lot of money, or there'll be something, there'll be a hook. And that's the hook they home in on. And if you're not prepared to walk away when they start doing things, they will get you. And that is how it will. That's how it starts, and that's how it will end. In fact, it will end in a lot worse. So you have to have in your mind that, and that's why when you work on yourself and you have, in a way that you've fulfilled yourself enough, when someone comes into your life and starts doing things that are challenging to you, you won't be scared to say, you know what, that's not for me, and bye. Because that is what they bank on. They bank on the fact that you don't want to be alone, that you need them. And so they want you to need them. So they will do things that will create you to feel, and if you even give them an inch of that you're, say, a bit more of a needy person, that you're insecure, and even though they will come in of like, oh, you're beautiful, or I'd marry you tomorrow if I had you as my girlfriend or my boyfriend or whatever it is, and they create you, and if they're boosting you up, you become addicted to that. You have to be 100% self-assured to battle a narcissist, because you will never win with a battle of words with them. So you have to have your wits about you. And that's why when you start to see the signs, you start pulling away. You don't invest more. And I can honestly, if I could count on I'd be a millionaire if I could have £1 for every time I spoke to somebody who'd been in a relationship with a narcissist and the signs were there from the beginning, and there was a part of themselves, an insecurity, they didn't trust themselves enough, and they just let that person in more because they believed what they were saying. And it's devastating. It's one of the most devastating relationships I feel that I've ever been in. And I've witnessed the after effects in clients. So that's why I do what I do, because if I can help one person see the signs and not get into a relationship with a narcissist, then that's one person I feel that's been saved. There's no redeeming them. In all honesty, there is no redeeming a narcissist. Now, there's different extremes. There are some that are the worst kind, which develops into sociopathy, even psychopathy. And there are ones that have traits which sometimes in relationships can be managed. Not all of them turn into people that are the worst case. I mean, I think all narcissistic behaviour is deeply damaging psychologically. They don't call it psychological warfare for nothing. But there are some that have been in relationships that I know that have managed to somehow stay in the relationship and still keep hold of themselves to a degree. Because sometimes, especially if there's children involved, that's the best you can hope for. It is not easy, working with somebody who's in a relationship with a narcissist that feels that they have to stay. There's every instinct in me to say, you don't have to stay. You're worth more than that. But unfortunately, like I say, when there's kids involved or there's, say, financial ties, etc., it's very difficult. And it's not my place to say, leave, because this is their journey and their own learning. All I can do is do what I'm employed to do, and that's support them and help them through whatever it is that they're going through. But these videos, hopefully, if they can help you, then, and you see the signs. But the biggest thing, like I say, is work on yourself before getting into another relationship. If you've come out of a bad relationship and you're now on your own, before jumping straight back into another relationship, work on yourself. Start looking at things that have the issues that have got you to where you are. What did you allow to happen in the previous relationship that you wish that you didn't? because there will always be signs, even if they're slight. I mean, they might be that you didn't even see them as signs, but you'll certainly look back and see them now. So literally focus on those things and look at what it is about yourself that in a way creates you to stay in a relationship with somebody that treats you badly. Because we have one life on this planet, regardless of what you may or may not believe. We have one life on this planet, and you're either going to live that life to the best of its ability, or you're going to be living it miserable and beholden to somebody. Nobody owns you, no matter who you are. You are not meant to be in a relationship where there's ownership, where the other person controls you and feels that they own you and can tell you what to do. You are your own person. So if you are in a relationship where this person is controlling you in some way, or telling you what to think or feel, or that's wrong and you shouldn't be a certain way, or dulls your shine, or stops your hobbies, or whatever the joy that you might find, and they hinder that in some way, that's all about them. That's their insecurities, that they feel that they need to control you because they're terrified of you leaving them. And they're terrified that if you actually saw your potential, that you wouldn't want to be with somebody like them. And the chances are you wouldn't. Unfortunately, a lot of people stay in relationships with narcissists because of their own things that have happened to them in their past, or they're very insecure. A lot of people, they might have insecurities because of weight gain, or they're poorly, or whatever it is. But there'll be reasons why they stay in it. And it's difficult, and I understand that. And I'm not saying that this is an easy, quick fix, because it really isn't. And I understand more than anyone how difficult this can be. But what I will say is, if you can at least work on yourself to the point where, if you have to stay in the relationship, that you work on yourself enough that you don't allow them to isolate you, you don't allow them to treat you badly, that you're able to switch off from the emotional impact that they can have on you, then that's a start, because then they're not hurting you. So I hope that helps. But like I say, in the next video next week, I will be talking about the way they try to regain control in the relationship, and each week I will be going through each one. So if there's something that you would like me to talk about in regards to narcissism, if there is anything that you would like for me to talk about once I have done these ones, I have done some videos already, but I'm going to do a refresh and sort of talk about more things here. So if there is something that you would like me to discuss, add that in the comments below, and I will make sure that I add that to the list, and I will do that in the videos after I've done this one. So in the meantime, I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will see you in the next video. So in the meantime, please take care of yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.